Hey, Shalom, Makim. Before I get started, want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All right, double honors unto the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well. I also want to say peace, safety, and much love to the elect that's laboring around the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and freedom to get this word out. And shalom to the sincere sisters that subscribe up under the Great Millstone. It's the brother Atazawam here from the GMS Atlanta camp. Um, in this lesson, I'm going to basically go into examples of predestination in the scriptures. I was trying to figure out how to put this lesson together, but through the Spirit, I gathered a couple precepts, out of certain books to show that, the Lord had already purposed um, his storyline to go according to how it goes, man. Okay, so it's really nobody out here, okay, that's moving around is really moving around according to their own way. All right, it's all written according to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. He gives like the scriptures tell you, he gives the angels charge over thee. So the angels are the ones that basically put your instructions in your head, and you carry out those instructions the next day. Whether you know it, believe it or not, that's just according to prophecy, man. All right, that's what the word prophecy. Okay, prophecy is nothing but predestination. Prophecy is predestined. Okay, it's already written. You had prophets like John the Revelator and Esdras that seen things that was going to transpire thousands of years down the line. Okay, so how were they able to see things in the future in a vision if it weren't already predestined? Okay, so if you do subscribe to the ideology, and that's what the Pharisees believed. Okay, and I got that in the scriptures as well. Okay, the Pharisees, or not the Pharisees, but the Sadducee sect. Okay, they didn't believe in predestination, man. Okay, but I'm gonna start with this is Romans 8:28. It says, and we know that all things work together for the good to them that love the Most High. Okay, so everything that's happening out here, okay, that's taking place in the earth is all working towards the benefit of the elect. Okay, everything that the wicked is doing, everything that 2/3 is doing, everything that the elect is doing, is all working for the purpose of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Because everything is setting up, the stage is being set for the salvation. Okay, it says to them that are called according to his purpose. So the Lord has a purpose, and nobody out here can rewrite the purpose of the Lord. It's already written. Okay, verse 29. It says, for whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son. Okay, and brother's been doing excellent videos on predestination, and this is just you know, my take on it, so to speak. But the word for predestinate is
Strong's G 4309. Praorizo. Praorizo.
praorizo. Okay, and it means to predetermine, decide beforehand. Okay, so anything that took place, before David fought Goliath, it was already written for David to beat Goliath. Okay, when Benaniah fought the lion in the snowy pit, it was already written for him to defeat the lion. Okay, everything that's written in the scriptures, okay, was predestined to happen, man. From Jacob the East, from Adam and Eve, all the way up until the nuclear missiles dropping and the salvation of Israel is already recorded, man. Okay, so I'm gonna go back. It says, uh, moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called, and whom he called, he also justified, and whom he justified, them he also glorified. So, hey, even if you're a member of the elect, there's nothing you can do to not be a member of the elect. You're already chosen, okay? But in the same token, you still have to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, and that's having the fear of the Lord, because the Lord didn't disclose that information on who's the elect and who's not the elect, okay? So in order to become a part of the elect, you have to do what the elect would do, and the elect man is going to do it, okay? It's simple, man. You got guys out here that make it a whole lot harder than what it is. This is Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. It says, "Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations." That's predestination, man. It's predestined, okay? The Lord chose his prophets and his elect from the beginning of the earth. That's predestination. Now, for did Jonah have a say so in the matter? He tried. He tried to flee, but what ended up happening? The Lord redirected him, and he prophesied. Okay, these are cases or examples in the scriptures of predestination. It was already predetermined who would be a scoffer, who would be a disciple, who would be a martyr, who would be a king, who would be all these things, who would be a devil, who would be the wicked. All these things is predestined, man. Okay, it's not like tomorrow's gonna come and the Lord don't know what tomorrow holds. This is his story. This is his movie, man. Okay, it's written. It just has to play out over a period of time. Okay, now I'm gonna go to Romans chapter 9, verse 11. Another example of predestination. It says, "For the children not being yet born, neither having done any good or evil." This is talking about Jacob and Esau. So before the children were even born, man, okay, when they were in the womb of Rebecca, okay, the Lord purposed the wicked seed to do according to the wicked, and He put the purpose in the righteous seed to inherit the blessing. Neither one had even came out in the flesh and done good or evil, but the Lord set it up for His purpose, predestination. Okay, it says that the purpose of the Most High according to election might stand, not of works, but of Him that calleth. So this is all according to Yahweh Bashem Shah. That's why the scriptures say you could do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. Okay, can't do nothing against this, man. This is not your story. Okay, if you have a producer or a director of a play, and he writes your script, okay, he write a script, and you have to recite that script. You can't add lines in there, cause this is not your story. You just an actor, all right. You just got to play your role, okay. And that's the same thing in this truth, man. You gotta do do according to what you need to do according to the will of Yahweh Bashem Shah. And what is the will is already. It's not like we don't know His will. Go out to the highways and byways, keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Prophesy, be brotherly. Just do them things to the best of your ability, and you doing the will of the Heavenly Father. And that way you can taste the salvation. If you do anything contrary to that, you just really falling into the hands of the Lord. Okay. Verse 12. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Now this is Paul quoting Malachi right here. Okay. Verse 14. It says, what shall we then say? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? God forbid. Yeah, because if you look at it, you'd be like, well, damn, why didn't Esau get a chance? Okay, neither one of them did anything. Why didn't both of them? No, that's not how the Lord wrote it. Okay, this is verse 15. It says, "For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of the Most High that showeth mercy." And see, it says not of him that willeth, nor him that runneth, but it's the Most High that shows the mercy, man. Okay, so this all goes back to an example of predestination, man. The Lord set it up in the womb of Rebecca for two manner of people to come out of the womb. All right, and one people would be righteous, one people would be wicked. There was nothing Esau could do. Esau didn't have a say so in the matter. Okay, yes. Here goes another example. This is Exodus chapter 10, verse 1, with Moses and Pharaoh. It says, "And the Lord said unto Moses, Go in unto Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart." Why would the Lord harden Pharaoh's heart? Okay, why would He harden his heart? It shows you that He's in control of everything. It says, "In the heart of His servants, that I might show these my signs before him." So He hardened Pharaoh's heart to show His power. Okay, to show his power. It was already predetermined that the Lord wanted to harden Pharaoh's heart so that he can show his power. It's all according to the Lord's will. Okay? If he didn't harden Pharaoh's heart, Pharaoh would have, let up, and none of the signs or none of the things would have happened. You wouldn't have had the parting of the Red Sea, or all the other plagues of darkness, and the locusts, fire and brimstone falling from hell. You wouldn't have had these things. Okay? It says that thou mayest tell in the ears of thy son and all the son's sons what things I have wrought in Egypt. So this was the purpose of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay? That these signs and these things were to take place in Egypt so that we can speak it to generations down to our children. All right, and pass down the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay, because if Moses would have just, if Pharaoh would have just let the children of Israel go on the first attempt, we wouldn't have had a mass amount of signs. Okay, to really glorify the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay, so these are the things that Jake. These guys that try to come up against predestination or being predetermined. Okay, you try to come up against it, but you don't have a real clear understanding of the truth. Okay, because it's really simple, man. All right, you just got to do according to what the will of the Father is. Okay, and if you do anything outside of the will of Yahweh Bashim Shai, which is save Israel, bring America to destruction, teach the doctrine properly the right way, okay, then you just gonna fall into the hands of death, and that right there is still written by Yahweh Bashim Shai. So there's nothing you can do. Okay, it says, and of thy son's sons, what things I have wrought in Egypt, and my signs which I have done among them, that ye may know how I am the Lord Yahweh. So that's why the Lord put the spirit on Pharaoh and hardened his heart, made him hard-headed, and continue to go against, okay, those signs that he was bringing upon him, because he wanted to show more. So later on down the line, the children of Israel would hear of these miracles that he done, the signs and the powers that he's done among the Egyptians, all right, and how he saved the children of Israel in the time of distress. This is all the purpose of the Lord, all right, and you have people out here that think that they doing setting things up according to their will, but it's not gonna happen like that. Even Esau trying to set up this new world order, this according to his will, and he sees an outlook on how things will go once everything is set up, but not considering that the will of Yahweh Bashim Shai is to bring you down. You're not gonna go past that. Okay? This is Job chapter 5, verse 12. It says, he disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. You see? So he's going to disappoint, because Esau is thinking in his head that, hey, we're going to set this up. We're going to set up the New World Order, the microchip. We're going to put Israel back in slavery. We're going to have total world dominance. But the Lord said he disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Okay? Because why? Because that's not his will. Okay? That is not his will. It says he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward he carried headlong. Okay, so you got to understand, even when you in this truth, and you sitting up here thinking that you gonna do this to brothers, and you gonna capitalize out the truth with this business, and I'm gonna go and do this and do that. The Lord's gonna disappoint that, because that's not his will. Okay, that's not his will, man. Everything is already predetermined. You can't go outside. That's why brothers always tell you, hey man, just follow the spirit. You gotta follow the spirit. And the spirit, if you in the spirit, you know when the spirit is telling you what to do in these situations, man. All right. Now I'm gonna get an example. I'm gonna get an example in the scriptures um, of how you had the Sadducees and the Pharisees, okay, that didn't believe in predetermination, or they didn't believe in reincarnation. It's the same thing you see nowadays, man. Okay, but this is Acts chapter 23, verse 7. And when he had said so, there arose a dissension between the Pharisees and Sadducees. Now let's look up the word dissension. Okay, it says a standing, station, state, and insurrection, strife. So there was a disagreement amongst the Sadducees and the Pharisees. Now these were two sects that came up and together up against Yahweh Shai. Now if they had disagreements, why weren't they going against each other, man? All right, and that's the same thing you see today. You don't really see Nate or IUIC going up against ISUPK, okay, or any of these other groups for that fact of the matter, going up against all these other camps as vehemently as they come up against Great Millstone, because we coming in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay, so you got the Pharisees and the Sadducees right here that had dissension amongst themselves. Okay, and they were still trying to come together to come up against the Most High. You got some guys that come together, and they some people don't believe in the chip. Some people don't believe in Yahweh Shai. Some people don't believe in reincarnation. You got all these different people with different beliefs, but they all will come together, or they won't say nothing about each other, but they have everything to say about the apostles and the elders and other brothers that's with Great Millstone, because they come out of that line. They reincarnated, all right, back into who they were. They fell right back in their same lot. So I'm gonna look up the word Sadducee, and I'm gonna read the definition of it in the blue letter.
Strong's G 4523. Sadducaios. Sadducaios.
Mm-hmm. Now it says Sadducee, uh, the righteous. I think in the Hebrew it will go back to Tazadak, or one of the sons of Zadok. All right, it says a religious party at the time of Yahushua among the Jews who denied the oral law, okay, was a revelation of the Most High to the Israelites, who deemed the written law alone to be obligatory on the nations as a divine authority. They denied the following doctrines: resurrection of the body. So they didn't believe that Yahushua rose from the dead. Immortality of the soul. The Sadducees, they did not believe, okay, in reincarnation, existence of spirits and angels. They didn't believe in the angels moving around in the spirit world. Now, if they knew the law and they knew the history on Israel, you could clearly see that angels always made themselves manifest to the men of the Lord. That go to show you how simple-minded they were. And the last one, it says they didn't believe in divine predestination, affirm free will. So they didn't believe in predestination. Okay, they was just the law, the law, the law, the law. You know, technical about the law. But hey, I guarantee when you read the scriptures, who kept the law perfectly 100% besides Yahweh Shai? No one, man. Okay, no one kept the law perfectly. All right. So I'm gonna finish up this scripture and I'm gonna get ready to head down to the camp. I just wanted to get this lesson off me. Apostle Gabar recommended me to go into it. So this is what I came up with. Now it says, and when they had said so, there arose a dissension between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the multitude was divided. For the Sadducees say that there is no resurrection, neither angel nor spirit, but the Pharisees confess both. So how the hell they coming together to come up against Yahweh Shai, and they got disagreements? Goes to show you the hypocrisy, man. That's the same thing with these guys today. But hopefully, brothers were edified, with that topic. I just wanted to do, something touching along those lines of predestination, just to show that it's written of in the scriptures. In every situation, man, predestination is, that's really what it boils down to. Okay? So just do the will of Yahweh Bashim Shai, and if you do the right thing, man, the Most High had that mercy on you. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and say Barakatah Yahweh Bashim Shai. Double honors once again to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Honors and salutation to the elect. Shalom.